As we explore the devastating effects of air pollution on the health of Nigerians and what can be done to protect the communities from the pressing environmental issues. Thanks for joining us on the program. I am Eukaria Clinton. Now with me in the studio to look at the health effects of air pollution is Dr. Ahmad Sani Balla. He's the Department of Family Medicine, FMC Abuja, and also he's a CEO, Vital Aid Medical Foundation. It's a pleasure to have you in Nigeria today.
Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure.
Also with us for this conversation is Professor Sani Abubakar Mashi. He's a former DG NIMET, now lecturer at University of Abuja. It's a pleasure to have you in Nigeria today.
Nice to meet you. Thank you.
I'll start with you, Prof. You know, actually, like last year, maybe around December, November, December, we were really expecting the Harmattan. But, well, maybe slightly, but we
it has not been seen.
We didn't see it. We actually sweating within those periods. But in January now, we are seeing the Harmattan. So is there an explanation to this, really?
Yes, there is. It's actually manifestation of global trends in the changes in the temperature that is commonly known as climate change. And you see this Harmattan is caused by what is known as pressure gradient, temperature gradient. What we mean by temperature and pressure gradient, meaning it is sloping. For most times of the year, the most part of the country, we are under the influence of an air mass that is known as tropical maritime, meaning it is starting from the ocean blowing here. So that is why that accounts for the longer rainy period that we have, 6 months, 5 months, 7 months, 8 months. And then for a short period of time in the country, between November, December, and January, 3-4 months, we are under an influence of another air mass. What causes this air mass? They call it tropical continental. It is coming from the Sahara. They are the two air masses that are modifying the climate of Nigeria. So what actually happened is the differences in the temperature is causing what is known as a gradient between November to around February. The gradient is towards like this, meaning the temperature and pressure are higher in the Sahara source, that is the source of the tropical continental, than here. And for the most times of the year, the temperature and pressure, they are higher in the southern part. That is why the temperature and pressure are higher. So the gradient is towards the north like this. But in this time, it's towards this. So that is why between November and February, we used to have the wind system blowing from the Sahara towards here. And then this wind system, because it is Sahara, it's just dry, it is cooler, and it is dusty. And this is what is bringing the Harmattan. So what happened here now is, we are, because of what has been going on, this climate change, records have shown that since we started taking a record of temperature in 1880, about 150 years ago, since records began, 2003, 2004, 2005, they have been the three warmest years, meaning years we have recorded highest temperature in 150 years. 2023 was the highest, 2024 was the second, and 2025 was the third. 2025 was the third highest, second highest. So what I'm literally saying that last year it was extremely hot all over the world. So the problem here now is the Sahara is usually hotter November to February than the other part, the coastal area. So that is why the wind is blowing here. Okay. So what happened here now is in 2025, the heat was extraordinary. So that has caused the temperature in the tropical maritime area to also go high. So because of this, you don't have the gradient. Gradient is like a slope. So the gradient is like this. So the Harmattan cannot move. So even if a wind is generated from the Harmattan source region, which is the Sahara, it cannot come because the gradient is becoming gentler. So this is what has explained why we don't have Harmattan this time period. That is essentially the period.
Yeah,
exactly.
Prof, I was trying to wrap my head around exactly what you're explaining, but maybe with time I will understand more. Maybe I'll come for more lectures later. But right now, I'm just nodding. I said, okay, yes, okay. All right. Now, to you, Dr. Balla. Now, of course, we know, according to what the Prof has explained, we know what exactly is causing this change of weather and how it fluctuates and all of that. Now, tell us, we've seen, or according to polls, we've noticed that there's been a high level of pollution in the air, and this has caused quite some delay. So tell us, what is the state of the environmental pollution right now in Nigeria?
Okay, the state of the environmental pollution now with urbanization and then with so much on population growth, it's increasing by the day as compared to before. So it leads to more air pollution, like what we are discussing. And then air pollution, on a general note, is the presence of harmful substances in the air, which contaminate the air. They are not supposed to be in the air, so they contaminate the air and they make the air unhealthy for human inhalation, so thereby causing diseases because of this contamination. So there is high increase in air pollution now because of urbanization, especially in the cities, ranging from different causes, from our homes, like generation of gases, generation of fumes and smokes from using fuels like solid fuels like a firewood, charcoal, down to transportation. Like we have cars that are not worthy to be on the road, generating fumes that are so toxic, containing carbon emission and containing toxic substances like sulfur, carbon monoxide, which further contaminates the air. Then down to the immediate community, where we have people dumping refuse openly and then burning the refuse. So this harmful practice now, it leads to emanation of smoke and fumes as they are burning this as a form of their refuse disposal in the community. So you can see the interrelation between different sources of pollution worsening the environmental pollution, down to industries, improper siting of industries or improper siting of residential areas. It's either the industries that are supposed to be away from human population so that whatever industrial gases they emit would be away from people. It's either they site it within the residential area, or people default from the master plan of the city and they carry residential areas into industrial zones, so thereby subjecting themselves to heavy emissions of carbon monoxide emission, sulfur emission, and other benzene and other toxic gas emissions. So these in all now, they raise the incidence of prevalence and incidence of diseases that are attributable to these gases and then air pollution we have. So it affects the various systems of the body, ranging from right from the sight, now hazy sight causing irritation to the eyes, down to the airway. From the nose it will start causing irritation to the throat, to the lungs and all that. Each system is affected by this.
Okay, now before I go into further questioning, given what you said, now, all these factors that Doctor had mentioned, how do they affect the weather?
You see, principally, what causes weather, like I have said at the beginning, is differences in temperature, which leads to differences in pressure over the Earth's surface. Whenever an area becomes hotter, the air expands. Okay. If it expands, it will go up. When it goes up, where it is rising away from, it is a low pressure zone. So it will go up. When it goes up, it starts moving. It moves to a region of low temperature. Do you get what I'm saying? Yes. So when human activities that he has enumerated, all this one, burning of this, cutting of trees and other things, what they have to do is they have to increase the amount of heat over the Earth's surface. When they increase the amount of heat over the Earth's surface, then it causes the air to rise. So what has happened, especially in 2025 that I said, because of enormous amount of heat received over the Earth's surface, areas where we used to have lower temperatures for most times of the year, they were having very high temperature during the time of the year. Okay, so because of that, air is rising up. So essentially what is happening is these activities, they are increasing the amount of heat that is being generated over the Earth's surface, leading to the rise in the air over the Earth's surface. And this rising of the atmosphere that is blocking the harmattan that we are expecting to see. And as a result of blocking the harmattan that we are having to see, then it means what we have in most part of the country will be the local emissions. What I mean by local emission from the sources he is mentioning. When harmattan comes, it will blanket them. All this problem he is saying, November, December, we don't used to have them. But this year, the level of pollution during this period is of concern to those in our public health. It's worrying. So what happens here now is when harmattan comes, it will blanket this local pollution, local emissions from the sources he mentioned. But now that the harmattan is being blocked because of these changes in the temperature gradient as coming, so it is being prevented from coming. Since it is being prevented from coming, then it means all these problems we are causing in the country that he is mentioning, burning of this, clearing of this, now the pollutants are now free to go. Okay. If not because of this blockage of the harmattan, we wouldn't have noticed them. Every year this is what we have. Normally they are high. For most times of the year, why we don't experience much of this one, what is helping Nigeria is most times of the year, the tropical maritime air mass that is coming now, it is coming with rain. So whatever pollution is being dissolved, so we don't encounter it. Okay. For most times of the year. So now we don't have this air mass coming. We are expecting harmattan to come and block them. Harmattan is not coming, so they are freely being released. So that is why we are having them. Probably those in the public health maybe can give us evidence that they are probably receiving more cases of incidents of people that are having health-related diseases that are related to this kind of emissions. So this is what the situation that is.
So, Dr. Bala, tell us what are the common illnesses linked to prolonged exposure to polluted air?
Okay, the common illnesses, as I said, they affect most systems of the body. So they can be classified into immediate illnesses that we see and the long-term illnesses that we see due to chronic or prolonged exposure. So the ones that we see like acutely that happens at the same time, we can have irritation of the eye because the air is hazy. So even the vision now will be impaired because you can't see clearly. So that can happen. And then the particles, we have the particulate matter. They have a way of irritating. There are smaller solid particles and liquid droplets that form the contaminants, and they are not supposed to be in the air. So they contaminate the air, the eye, irritating the eye. So down to the respiratory system, starting from the nostrils into the lower airway, the trachea, the bronchi, and all that, which are the parts of the lungs and airway. They can cause diseases. They can cause irritation. And then they can be vectors. All these particulate matters, they can be a medium of transportation of bacteria, viruses. So they can increase the risk of infection of the respiratory tract. That's this dust and contaminated air. And then it can also exacerbate or it can worsen the symptoms of other diseases. Like we have in asthmatics, it can increase the frequency of asthmatic attack. It can worsen the symptoms of asthmatic attack. It can also lead to upper airway infection, people sneezing. They will say this season is the season of cough and catarrh. And in extreme cases, you see that people are coughing out dark-colored sputum, which reflects the soot. We call it soot, like the black carbon in the air. When they cough and spit productive cough, you can see it black. You can see the tears, not normal clear tears that are ultrafiltrate of the blood. You can see dark colored tears reflecting what is contaminating it.
Yeah, I see that. That was, it's common in the Niger Delta.
Yes, you can, because of high industrialization there with the oil companies and all that gas emission and all that. So you can correlate what I told you earlier on about the gas emission contaminating it and then the direct effect. So you can see that one also. For the long-term effect now, we have what is called chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, which are chronic diseases for a prolonged period of time, worsening the respiration, that's breathing in people. There are symptoms, let me not say so much medical, but there are symptoms, there are symptoms that worsen over time and they affect breathing. And then they can also, asthma can also be from a prolonged period of time. And then lung cancer also has been implicated. This has been implicated in lung cancer. Then other diseases in the elderly, like ischemic stroke, it can also be worsened by these heavy emissions, and as well as confusion, also lack of mental clarity. So as you can see, there are immediate effects of this on health, and then we have the long-term effects on the health, which in all they affect the overall morbidity and mortality resulting from air pollution.
Is there a possibility of you feeling maybe having kind of headache and feeling kind of
definitely
dizzy?
Confusion, dizziness, headache, definitely, because there's what is called carbon monoxide poisoning, which is among the effects that we see here. And in some cases it can be fatal because it displaces oxygen where oxygen is supposed to be, and carbon monoxide, it poisons the blood and all that, so it can lead to death in extreme of cases. So you can see in that case there can be headache, there can be dizziness, there can be confusion, there can be unconsciousness in extreme cases. So all these are sequel to exposure to these pollutants from our industrial activities, from our domestic activities, and all that accumulating to form the air pollution we experience.
Thank you very much, Dr. Bala. We're going to take a short break now. The conversation will continue shortly. Don't go away.
The implementation of the ruling is also dependent on another aspect or another arm of government.
Nowhere in the world will allow under digital economy for banks not to be dispensing domestic currency in that economy.
What will make this one different? We want to know what they do as occupation. All of these are attributes that our questions have been designed to investigate.
In a few days to come, you see that we are all around their own crannies and everywhere in Nigeria, telling people to cooperate.
Welcome to Nigeria Today.
Welcome back. This is still Nigeria Today. We're talking about the health effects of air pollution. And I have two experts that, of course, they have all the information to give to us to know what to do and what not to do. And Prof, of course, you've mentioned quite a lot of things. And, of course, doctors told us the health effect, which is not good at all. So how can we're looking for the way forward now. How can we stop this air pollution?
Well, the issue is we have to change the way we are doing our things. Okay. Some of the practices are inevitable, we must carry them. But the thing about the world now is that whatever you are doing, there is always alternative. If you are burning firewood for you to cook, there are alternative ways you can do that. Even if you must use firewood, there are improved stoves that have been designed that you can use instead of using, like, say, 10 kg of firewood in a month, for instance. You can use less than 5, less than even 3 if you use improved stove. This will reduce the amount. That is in case if you can't even abandon it completely. And the trees, deforestation, that you cut down trees, you burn them, maybe because you want to get more farmlands or for whatever reasons. Whatever is carrying you there in order to cut down the tree, there are alternative ways you can do that. The industries that are releasing pollutants in total disregard to the environmental laws of the country, there are alternative ways they can do that. All they need to do is to overhaul their production system, some of the machines they are using. I'm happy when Doctor was talking, he said there are some vehicles that are even supposed to be off the road. We are happy that there are vehicles now that have been designed that don't need petrol, electric vehicles that are relying on solar. So there should be a deliberate attempt towards making them affordable. I have an old car, for instance. If you have an old car that is emitting smoke wherever you are, if you are exposed to an alternative car with very little money, I don't think you will continue to do that. After all, it's a bit cheaper. Especially if it is working on solar, you don't need to buy anything.
We also have that CNG, the one that uses CNG.
So you have the CNG. So that's what I'm trying. So in other words, what I'm trying to say is we need to be more serious in the country. It is everybody's role, not just the government now. We as individuals, you have the means to use improved stuff, but for whatever reason you are not using it. You have the means not to use a vehicle that is relying on petrol, but you are not doing it as an individual. You don't have to wait for government to come and tell you stop. Even as individual, you do that. Those of us in the industries, for the in the sectors maybe that are into advocacy and others, we need to be talking, we need to be guided. You don't have to be called before you talk. When you see things happen, open mouth and talk. At least you know, so that you can advise. You start from the lowest level, from your community. You can expand, scale it up, so that at least people can be made well aware. What this 2025 and 2020 is a very big lesson. It is teaching Nigerians is that we have been emitting. Our level of emission is very high. In the past, we have not been recording this problem. Why? Because like I said, for about 8 months, tropical maritime will come and dissolve them through rain. And for 4 months, the tropical continental will come to, Hamatan will come, and then will come and blanket this pollutant. So we don't notice them much. This year, because of what happened last year, extreme heat, the Hamatan has been weakened. So the air is a bit free. So the pollutants are now there. And that's why we're having concern now. So people are now complaining that they are witnessing some health challenges which they are attributing to pollution.
There are a lot of health challenges now that we're not, we didn't used to have them in the past.
That is
just people coming down with cancer,
Certainly.
a lot of people coming down with so much cancer, and we're like, what's going on?
Exactly, this is what I'm saying. That's exactly.
So
it's a...
Okay,
yeah.
Thank you. Sorry
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Now, Doctor, tell us, yes, of course, Prof has told us what to do in terms of our environment. What can we do, looking at how we can also guard ourselves in terms of our health?
Okay, so in terms of protection from this, the health effect of this pollution, so there are things that we can do at individual levels, and then there are things that we do at community levels, and then there are things that would be done by the government. So classifying them would make it easier for the responsibility. At individual levels now, we should desist from any form of act that we know would subject us to air pollution. Like if we have the option of clean energy, like we have solar powered plates, we have electrical plates and all that. So instead of using firewood, cutting down forests, cutting down trees, using firewood and charcoals, where there is availability of solar-powered or electrical means of generating heat to cook, we can opt for that. And also within the house, we should try as much as possible not to further compound the indoor pollution and then outdoor pollution. Outside, we are battling with industrial emissions. So inside the house now, we should try as much as possible to limit using these biofuels in emanating other things that would also contaminate the indoor air. So that's at individual levels. Also taking sense of responsibility, indiscriminate smoking, and other things that would lead to burning of dust and other things within the house. So some people burn sawdust as a means of fuel. So burning of that one also emanates a very, very large amount of smoke. So all these individual practices should also be reduced or even eradicated and be replaced with other healthier sources of generating heat for cooking. And then at community level also, we can come together as a community that this is a refuse dump that has been here, and we are the ones generating the refuse, we are the ones burning it, we are the ones inhaling the toxic fumes that is being emanated. So by trying to form a community way of disposing refuse, and then holding the people responsible for the refuse disposal accountable, in that we need refuse disposal systems, because we don't know what to do. There are vehicles by the government that come and convey the refuse once they are properly disposed. We have incinerators that have minimal emission. So by ensuring that is done, it will also further reduce the emission of these toxic substances. And also we have transportation, as we said, as Prof rightly said, my car is rickety, my bike, the amount of fume it will just be exuding and all that. So you know that your vehicle is not roadworthy, and you keep using it. So this is individual effort that we should make as individual. Then as community, we should, and at governmental level, enforcement also, because people don't follow the rule when they know that they can break the rule and go scot-free. So when there is a punishment for breaking the rule, and then ensuring enforcement of proper disposal of refuse, when there is system put in place for them to come and dispose, and then the VIO that are responsible for inspection of vehicles and ensuring that they are roadworthy should also be very, very...
alert at their duty.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ahmad Sani Bala, of the Department of Family Medicine, FMC Abuja. He's also the CEO, Vital Aid Medical Foundation. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you very much for having me. It's my
and
pleasure.
sharing your thought with us. And also we have Professor Sani Abubakar Mashi. He's a former DG NIMET, now lecturer at the University of Abuja. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me.
And thank you for being part of the program. I am Eukaria Clinton. Goodbye.